As they say, anything can happen on Wrestle Lost. Welcome to Wrestle Lost Falls.
Ah, yes, it's the dance here. It's the Wrestle Lost Derby cast.
The sniper.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wrestle Lost. Once again, we are a man down, but that's okay. Like always, we were powered through. So, just to not lose the format of what we do, Triggered, go ahead with the news.
Here's Trigger. Oh.
Here's Triggered. So, a couple of things I want to touch on, and I got some of Johnny's notes that he sent me, so in a way, he's here. Of course, the first thing he's going to put on there is about the G1 Climax. The final is going to be tomorrow between Kazuchika Okada and Naito. Naito defeated Ospreay to get into the final, and Okada defeated Evil, which I think is a very good move because even though Evil is good, he's not at that level of being in the final, even when, especially since his last match was with Okada. So I get that decision. It should be a very good final. Couple of injury news on WWE's end. Sonya Deville, yes, one half of your women's tag team champions, is out with a torn ACL. And we've seen this a lot where people are out for a considerable amount of time with a ACL injury. And a lot of people are making the same connections as Johnny made, and as I had the same thought as well. These women tag titles are cursed.
They are.
I don't know what's going on over there or with these titles in general, but a lot of people are asking for these titles to be retired just because of the bad vibes it brings to anyone who holds them. What do you think they should do with them, Andrew? What would you do if you were in this situation?
I don't know. Because if you get rid of them, you don't have any. You only have 2 titles for women, and there's a lot more women that need titles. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't have an intermediate title for women. If you get rid of the tag team titles, you need to do something like that, like a women's United States or a women's Intercontinental. I can see something like that happening. You get rid of the tag teams because you really don't have women's tag teams.
Yeah.
And the ones you do, you break up.
And see, I am glad you said the Intercontinental title because that is the first title that popped into my mind. If they were gonna do another title instead of the tag titles, I would definitely do like an Intercontinental or a U.S. Championship.
And you don't even have to name it that. You could come up with different names,
Which I have
international title or something like that for the women.
I don't want to go international just because of another company.
Okay, but do you really want to call it the Women's Intercontinental?
The Winter Continental title.
Do you really want to call it the Women's Intercontinental?
Yeah, you just
or you just give it its own name. Like make one of them like the USA title. You know, like the other one's named after the company's stations they're on. Like a Fox title for women's Fox champion or something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. I don't know.
Yeah,
but if you're going, that's what I'm saying. Get rid of. If you either keep the titles or get rid of the tag team titles and make mid-card titles for women, one for each
Yeah.
show.
Because if you go Intercontinental title, I would just put a W in front of it, the Winter Continental title.
Or the Wusa.
And you can't really call it the Wuss title. And then it makes them sound like Wusses. And no, we're not going to go down that route.
Or bring back some of the other titles that they used to have, like make one of them a Divas Championship, maybe.
Oh, but I can see some people considering that going backwards instead of forwards.
Right. That's why I said you need to think of something else that's out there.
I would, because if you really look at it, back in the day, a lot of what made the men's division really interesting was the hardcore title.
The mid-card titles, yeah.
So I would even reintroduce the hardcore title, but only for like the women's division.
Or you do. I still want to see both of them come back. I love the hardcore title, and I love the hardcore matches. But I don't want it like the 24/7, which was stupid. I want a hardcore title where you have to fight a hardcore match, any style hardcore match. It could be a tables match, ladder match, whatever, but it has to be a hardcore match. It has to be for the title, not this false count anywhere in the building.
A legit hardcore match.
Yeah, it has to be a legit match, not someplace where you just roll them up in the backstage for 3 seconds and you win. That was just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, but something definitely needs to be done here because, these titles are now being deemed as cursed. So I would, if I was WWE,
there's only like one true tag team.
Yeah,
and they were thrown together in NXT and they just came up as a tag team.
Yeah, so I would definitely think of doing something there, adding another singles title for the women because these tag titles just aren't working.
See, I would add two, one for each show.
One for each show?
Yeah.
I guess you could do that. Have a women's Intercontinental on one and a women's USA title on the other.
Yeah, or a different name. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah. But that would just be like the
What's
easiest
the name of the title
solution.
Rhea has? Women's Championship?
Isn't it the Women's World Heavyweight Championship?
I think it's just the Women's World Championship. I don't know if they put heavyweight
Not
in there.
heavyweight. Yeah, we even talked about that.
Heavyweight.
You don't want to throw heavyweight in there. They'll throw a fit. People would throw a fit. They wouldn't,
Right.
but people would throw a fit if you do that. So, yeah, maybe like an Intercontinental or a U.S. title for the women, something like that would work.
Or maybe even like a TV title. Just call it the television title.
Yeah, because that name has floated around before as well, so they could use it. Sami Zayn is also out with an elbow injury.
Yeah, his elbow looked kind of weird poking out the other day.
Yeah.
How long is it?
A lot of people were making the comparison that it looked like that one time, and I hate that I'm going to have to say his name, but fuck it, here we are. That one time John Cena was on TV and his elbow was all jacked as well. Do you remember? Where it was very noticeable that there was something wrong with his elbow. And this was the exact same way with Sami.
Yeah. It looked bad. So is this really taken from him and split him up? Because isn't Kevin injured too?
Yeah, Kevin is injured as well. But
they might as well do it. And then when they get healthy, they can be the first. They get first shot at whoever's champion. Whatever show they're on.
Yeah. The only thing I am hearing ever since KO got injured and now that Sami's injured as well is that it's not a lengthy recovery time to both of their injuries. So even though one of them, obviously, I think KO would be the one to come back first, they can keep the wheels in motion.
Yeah, but I
And
still think we need to separate those titles.
yeah,
And this is a perfect opportunity to do it since they're both injured.
yeah. But there's many questions that could be said and answered. There's a lot of questions still, but yeah, separating them here might be the way to go. Now, what's up, Zach? Of course, you would come in right now when I am about to say one of the most saddening news. I'm a little fucked up now because of it, and I haven't even said it. I'm happy for them, but it hurts us. Congratulations to Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews on their engagement. No, truly though, like
You sure it wasn't Paul and Roman?
no, that and that's what I was gonna say. Like ever since their engagement photo came out, there's been a couple of edits where it's been made to where it's Paul Heyman and other people like there I've seen like three or four happening, but the biggest one I've seen is the Paul Heyman Roman Reigns one. I think that someone even made a Cody Rhodes Brock Lesnar one since they
Heard,
huffed it
heard
out.
about that one.
Yeah, but yeah, she's off the market for good. Buddy Matthews is a lucky man,
Well,
and
we'll see because wasn't Alexa his fiance at one point? Then they broke up.
yes,
So we'll
but
see. But there's a chance. Oh,
I would say this one is a lot more serious because they even stream together. Like they do a lot of things together.
yeah.
So it looks like this is the one that's gonna stick. So congratulations to Rhea and Buddy on their engagement. And now for the well, not the biggest story, but these next two are gonna tie in a little bit. Did you hear about Bray Wyatt?
No.
So, as reported by Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful, it looks like he's getting closer to being cleared. And even though there hasn't been an exact date set, some people are thinking September. September would be a good time for him to return. And we do have payback in September. So a lot of people seem to think that payback would be a good date for his return. They're already saying that they have different creative plans for Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that all depends on what they're going to do with it. Because I don't know. Like the last time with the six, it took too long to develop.
Yeah, and Alexa is pregnant, so she won't be back for a while. You let go of Eric Young, who they were going to use in there as well. Who knows what Bo Dallas is doing? But to only have one of the three that you were going to bring in for this new stable with Bray Wyatt,
Well, you could
it,
still do it. You just have to dip into NXT.
yeah, I guess you could still do it, but I don't know how many people would be happy to see it, seeing as how everything was going. It
Yeah, if you
took
do it, you're just going to have to speed it up, speed it up, speed it up.
yeah. But the other thing, like, who knows what creative is going to have in store for him or what ideas they're throwing around. But the other one I heard was bringing back the Wyatt family. Not, I haven't heard anything about Braun Strowman being in the mix yet.
I wouldn't know. Bring in new members off. The only thing you keep the same as him.
And I mean,
I
I
wouldn't even
don't
bring
know.
back Eric.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even bring back Redbeard
you wouldn't.
because if you're not bringing back Braun,
Yeah,
I wouldn't bring back him. And because when you think of them, you also think of Lee Harper,
yeah,
and you can't bring him back. So just start a new family.
yeah. I guess you could start a new. You would have to start a new family because Braun is, I think, is too big for that now.
Right.
Like, you pushed him too much as a single star to just
That-
go back under the wing of Bray Wyatt. It wouldn't work.
Right.
Yeah,
Now he could be the first feud. Right.
I mean, he could be. A lot of people. Some people have said this, and even though they're completely against it, they have said it. Is that maybe Bray's first feud is with Cody because they have history. But a lot of people are like, don't bring Bray Wyatt anywhere near Cody Rhodes.
Mhm.
But me personally, being a Bray Wyatt guy, I wouldn't mind it.
I see because Cody was always a fan of because that was his. Cody was his what do you call it? Shit.
Like,
It
mentor.
was yeah in NXT
Yeah.
or Tough Enough or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Husky was Cody's
Coach,
guy.
in a way.
Yeah, Cody was his coach, and there's actually clips out there of Cody going off on the because when they tried to eliminate him, and he goes, "No, you're eliminated the wrong person." This is the one guy you want to keep around out of all these guys.
Yeah. And he had a very good point. I mean, even though they haven't used him as well this last run.
Not the last run, but when you think about all the Wyatt family did,
Yeah.
and the whole Fiend thing. Yeah.
Revolutionary, man.
Yeah.
Revolutionary shit. So I just hope that there's something good for him when he returns. And I can't wait. Early birthday. What's the date of Payback? Do you know?
No, I do not.
And yeah, it's like Zach said. Braun was doing good with Ricochet. So yeah, you can't bring him back into the Wyatt fold because he's been out doing other things. So it wouldn't be right to bring him back. But like I said, this next thing I'm gonna bring up, I don't
September 2nd.
September 2nd. Okay. Early birthday gift. I want Bray Wyatt back at Payback. But the other thing about this whole Bray Wyatt thing coming out now, and the reason really hasn't been disclosed as to what it was, but the injury he had has been described as both career threatening and life threatening. So I don't know exactly what it was. He's keeping it close to the vest. Not a lot of people know from what I've heard, but it was real serious. So just the fact that we're getting him back healthy, as far as we know, I'm happy for that. But with this next story, it worries me a little bit for his return because have you heard the recent news with the UFC Endeavor merger?
No.
Okay. So they're looking to close like everything, finally getting the deal closed. End of September, mid to end of September as well. So going into September, we're going to have to keep eyes on that. But the merger is going to be finalized, and there are going to be a lot of layoffs. Not as far as talent, but more as in the office, as to who will run everything. There are going to be a lot of layoffs because it's obviously a merger. And one of those that has already been announced, Triple H will no longer be on the board in this new company, TKO. But he was the one running this shit.
Well, as long as he's still in charge of creative.
No, like he's out. He is out. He will have as far as from what I am hearing, obviously this is new news. So we don't know all the details yet, and we won't know them for a good while, at least for another month. But I'm not liking what I'm seeing because with him out, that's just going to put Vince more in control. And that's why I'm afraid of this Bray Wyatt return because with obvious releases coming, he's going to be one of the ones targeted, as well as the people that have returned that were let go by Vince in the first place. Vince is not in the offices right now, Zach, just because he had his back surgery. But you better believe once he recovers, and with them removing Triple H from his role, he's going to be way more involved with creative and with everything. So we're back at square one, man, from the sounds of it. If it goes like they say it's going to go, we're back at square one. The only thing that can save us from all of this Vince bullshit is the lawsuits. Because some people are saying that the reason he decided to have this back surgery right now was because of his house being raided by the feds, of him being raided by the feds. That is the only reason he decided to have this surgery, is to keep him out of jail. I don't know, man. This whole situation is weird. I was very excited early in the week when I heard of the Bray Wyatt news, but I quickly felt defeated again after I heard everything with Triple H and how the merger was being finalized and what it's probably going to lead to.
So this news with Triple H coming out, where'd that come from?
That came from a couple of different sources. Sean hasn't reported on it yet, but Wrestle Talk has, and a couple of other very credible reporters have talked about it and brought it up. So it looks like that's what is going to happen. Right now, it's more possible of that happening than anything else. That's how serious it's being taken. So, I don't know, man. It's
So
not.
what are the reports saying? He's just out, or he's just not on the board? Because I really don't see them pulling him out of creative. Because everything that happened in the last year that's been good, it's his. That would just be suicidal
Yeah,
for the company.
I'm. As far as I know, all I'm
See, I
hearing
can
is
understand him saying, "I don't want to be on the board no more, doing all this," but him still being in charge of creative is
the. So as far as I know, his creative role hasn't been affected yet. There hasn't been any talks of that. But if you're not going to be on the board anymore, they could easily remove you from creative.
well, I know, but here's what I'm saying: it's a new company. He's not a businessman. He's a wrestler turned creative guy. I can
Yeah,
see them leaving him in charge of creative, but not having him on the board because it's a completely different company and they want their own people on the board.
yeah. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. But Zach does bring up a very good question. He said, "I wonder if they're going to change the way wrestling goes as far as incorporating MMA into it." I mean, they've already started doing that
Yeah,
in a way.
but if they try, I don't know if they can actually. What are they trying to do? Make wrestling legit, whether we don't know, they don't know outcomes.
Yeah,
Make it a true sport. I don't think that's going to work.
make it like actual collegiate wrestling. I could see more of that style happening, but I'm not. I don't think they'll go full MMA with it.
I don't, because what are you going to do when? How are you going to control the titles and everything?
You're just gonna have to leave it up. Well, okay. This is the way I'm gonna. This is how I'm gonna put this. At all of this collegiate MMA stuff, like the whole matches that aren't tied into any title in any way, they might be able to work a little bit more free with. But when it comes down to title matches and who they want to have it, they're gonna keep that going like they've always done.
But you really can't do that because if you go to the other way with the off matches, let's say there's a really good collegiate wrestler that has no charisma or whatever, and he wins all these. Pretty soon he's going to have to get in the title shot,
Yeah.
and then you're going to. And he shows how dominant he is over here. Then he gets somebody with charisma who it's not a good. I don't know how. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can make it an actual sport type thing. It's still going to have to be scripted.
In the end, yes.
You're going to have to keep them separate.
But I could see them trying to work it in a little bit more with those who are comfortable in doing it, like Brock, like Riddle, like Shayna. Shayna would just kill everybody.
Right.
So
So yeah, that's the deal. You have people like that who would kill everybody because they want to give her a title match and she goes up against Charlotte. Clearly, in an MMA match, she would kill Charlotte, but they want to keep the belt on Charlotte. What are they going to do?
yeah, I don't know, man.
That's why it says I don't think it would work. When you have to show scripted, have to show unscripted. I don't think it's going to work.
It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to work that out. But
I think they should keep them both separate. You have your UFC and you have your WWE. It's going to have to be that way.
they're going to blur the lines a little bit.
Now you can do like you did at SummerSlam, where every once in a while you have a WWE match with MMA rules.
Because they have the fight pit, which, if you really look at it, it's an octagon.
No, it's a squared circle. No, it's not the same shape, but yes, it does have the walls.
Yeah, it's pretty
But it
much.
also has that platform up top you can fight on too.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna ignore that platform up top for now. It's just it looks too much like UFC to me, so I could see where they could get some ideas and try and run with them. But a lot of people are gonna feel like you and Zach do, where it says wrestling is gonna lose my interest if they change it too much.
Exactly.
And that's where I kind of differ a little bit, just because I've been as much of an MMA fan as I am a pro wrestling fan. So to me, I think if they could find a way to make it work, I would be into it. But that's just because I'm an MMA fan as well. But not all pro wrestling fans are MMA fans. I'll just leave it at that.
Hmm.
And the last bit of news that I have here on Johnny's notes is the hiring freeze may be coming to an end soon. Nick Aldis has been brought in as a producer for WWE. And a lot of people, now that he's in this producer role, have been calling for him to wrestle as well, which I think would be a good thing to do because he's very well respected in the wrestling community. He has a big fan base behind him. So I could see them using him in a wrestling role as well. And also because Kyrie Zane is in talks with WWE and is trying to make her return to the company. Which now with people like Asuka being back in the spotlight a little bit and Io Sky being the champion, I think it would be a good thing to bring someone in like Kyrie Zane. One of the things I talked about with Johnny during the week was imagine a three-way title match: Io Sky, Kyrie Zane, and Asuka. That would be some good shit. And you know you miss your pirate. I miss it. I miss her being around. So if she's able to work this out to where she can come back to WWE, I'd be down for it. And even though he has been signed for a good while now, Carlito is still waiting to make his return. As far as I know, he's been under contract ever since he showed up that one time and was with the LWO. But
Backlash.
yeah, they're still waiting to see. He's still waiting to see what they're going to do with him. Which I think if they don't do anything, it's a missed opportunity because even though he still does the Apple thing and all that shit, all the old Carlito shit, he is very talented and is a lot more credible now, especially since he worked on himself and he put himself in the best physical shape he's been in a while. You saw how buff he is, man. He didn't have that much muscle on him when he was in WWE the last time we saw him.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's world champion material, but he could be mid card to upper title if they really wanted him to, not just be a comedy act like he was back in the day. So yeah, a lot of stuff came out. I'm interested to see where this whole Bray Wyatt thing goes, and with the merger finally about to be truly finalized, it's going to be an interesting time. So, yeah, now that we've gone through the news, we're going to go ahead and get into our moments of the week. So I'm going to go over to Andrew and get his moment for WWE. Yeah, he pulled off a Drew McIntyre transformation. That's what Carlito did. He came back badass.
Yeah. I don't know. That was some good shit this week.
There was a lot of good stuff this week to go with.
I think I'm gonna have to take Jay though, or Jimmy's reasoning for what he did to Jay. It was close. I said it was because Jimmy wanted a shot at Roman,
Yeah.
but I don't think he said that wasn't it. He said he didn't want Jay to win and become like Roman,
Yeah.
which is a manipulative asshole. And while he's telling all this, and you should see and Roman's face in the background. So it was a good segment. Jimmy out there telling his part, why he did it, and he didn't do it for Roman. Then Jay come out and he wants to know why, and Jimmy tells him why. And Jay just turns his back on Jimmy. Yeah, Jay just turns his back on Jimmy. And then he goes after Roman. He goes after Solo. He puts both of them out. Then he gets out of the ring and he wants Jay to come to him. We think they're going to hug. Then he super kicks super kicks Jimmy. And then he says something odd. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
He said, I'm done. I'm done with the bloodline. No, he said, I'm out. I'm out
of the bloodline.
I'm out of the Usos. I'm out of WWE. Crazy enough, if you go to the WWE page, he's now an alumni.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're really going all in on this storyline.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was looking, and they said they don't know when his contract is up, but they think it's sometime middle of 2024. So we don't know. I think in his storyline that he's just taking probably a month or two off.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's going to take a couple months off, let Jimmy battle Roman 2 or 3 times, wait for Solo to switch, then come back or something. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm just thinking he's taking time off.
So here's my question to you. With the way SummerSlam ended and how we were waiting for yesterday to happen to make our final decision on how we felt about it, how do you feel about it now, seeing what you saw yesterday? Do you think they did it justice?
Yes. Because here's one. When the Bloodline first all started, Jimmy was hurt. He wasn't there. So Jay got all the big spots, all the big wrestling, everything. Even all the way up through SummerSlam, it was more Jay than Jimmy. Everything was focused on Jay.
Yeah.
Jay takes time off. Now it can focus on Jimmy and his solo career.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let him have it for 2, 3, 4 months, whatever. Jay comes back at Rumble.
You said the magic word. The Rumble. Okay. Is Jay actually done with WWE? No.
No. Oh,
We know this is storyline. Like them moving Jay into the alumni section
was great.
it's smart, but we kind of know its storyline because they've done this before, where they've moved people from being active roster members into alumni, but they're not really gone. They've done this before. It's rare, but they have done this before. So here's how I truly feel about it. Up until up until the moment on SmackDown when Jay super kicked Roman and then he super kicked Solo and he went outside to call Jimmy back, I was like, this is good, but it's like what we have seen before from the Bloodline. So that all was good, but not as surprising as I thought it was. But that last little bit with Jay looking directly into the camera and saying, I'm out of the Bloodline. I'm out of SmackDown. As
So he
soon as
said, I'm out of the Usos.
No, he said of SmackDown.
Yeah, he said, I'm out of the Bloodline, out of the Usos, out of SmackDown, I'm out of WWE.
Yeah. So as soon as he said I'm out of SmackDown, I was like, where are you gonna go then? But then when he said I'm out of WWE, I was like, okay,
Oh,
so you're gonna take months off.
yeah.
And everybody on I'm still gonna call it Twitter. Everybody on Twitter was like, okay, so he's gonna take some lengthy time off. It is September, so we could see him coming back for the Rumble, winning the Rumble, and going on in main event WrestleMania against Roman again. That is one story that people are throwing out there. Now, the other story is that the higher ups in WWE want to save the Jay versus Jimmy match for WrestleMania. So they're thinking that Jay versus Jimmy is too big of a match to just have on a regular pay per view. So they're going to save that for WrestleMania. That's just what I'm hearing. That I could see either one of those happening, but which one do you think would be the bigger one? Jay going up against Jimmy at Mania or Jay going against Roman again?
That depends. If Jay goes for Jimmy, who has the title? Is it still Roman or somebody else have the title?
Oh, I would say it's still Roman. So someone else would have to face Roman at Mania.
Right.
And that's where the possible Cody Rhodes winning the Rumble 2 years in a row could come into play. But if it was me, I would have. If they're really going to hold off until WrestleMania to close this whole Bloodline chapter for real this time, I would have Jimmy win the Rumble. So they would set up Jimmy versus Roman at WrestleMania, and then Jay returning somewhere between after the Rumble and obviously before WrestleMania, and then making it a triple threat match. Roman Reigns versus Jimmy Uso versus Jay Uso for the title.
or the Rumble.
Four way.
No, or in the Rumble, Jimmy and Jay eliminate each other, and they have a feud, and they are Jimmy and Jay versus Rumble at Mania. Jimmy versus Jay. We have Solo in the Rumble. He fight Rumble at Mania.
Okay.
And he'd be the one to take it from him.
Are you okay?
What?
Talking to okay. All of that aside, okay. So I was watching the Wrestle Talk review of Smackdown during lunch, and they have the same thoughts as everybody else. And I don't know if you feel this way. That's why I'm going to bring it up and ask you if this is how you're feeling. A lot of people seem confused now. Like they don't know where this storyline is going, especially after Jay quit WWE. Like we don't know how this is going to pan out now or how it's all going to work from now until whenever they decide to pay it off finally. I'm so confused.
I
Like
think a lot of people are.
the last thing
And like I said, we can only guess what they're going to do because we're not
Yeah.
inside their heads. We don't know where they're going with this. But like I said, I think for the next couple months we have the next pay-per-view we have Jimmy Rumble. One after that we have a rematch of Jimmy Rumble.
Yeah.
And eventually we're going to have Solo turn on Roman and join his brother. And when he does, maybe that's when Jay comes back. And then Jimmy and Jay have their little feud.
Yeah.
And then maybe Solo gets his shot at Roman. He's the one to finally take it from Roman. It would cement him as one of the next superstars, since he's the newest one to the company.
Yeah.
And he can go on I'm not saying he needs to hold it for 3 years, but he can go on a decent run.
And okay. Yeah. It's going to be, but it's like I said, after we finished watching SummerSlam, they're going to need to do something to draw me back in because we didn't know what the situation was as soon as Jimmy attacked Jay.
Right.
But now that we're seeing how it panned out yesterday, they hooked me back in.
Yeah. Like I'm saying, Jay steps away for a while. Jimmy gets his turn to be main event Jimmy Uso, right hand man. Well, maybe not right hand man, but main event.
No,
Jimmy
we
Uso.
don't need that.
Main event Jimmy Uso to take on Roman.
Yeah.
And try to change his brother's mind. Solo.
Yeah. The only part of it that scares me, and this I already told you this, in the press conference for SummerSlam after everything went down, the only one there involved with the Bloodline was Paul Heyman, and someone asked him the question of where are we in this whole Bloodline storyline? And the best way Heyman could describe it was, imagine if you're watching a baseball game. Right now, we are in the third inning at best.
That means
We
6
are-
more years.
We are 3 years into this thing. And you're telling me it's a year per inning? Now, I'm not a baseball guy, but I do know there's at least 9 innings.
Yeah. So are they going through Bruno San Martino's record or what?
I don't know, but according to Heyman's logic, it's a year per inning, so we have 6 years to go.
So there'll be a 2,000 days. Yeah. That's
yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know how this is all going to pan out, but they hooked me back in. So I'm willing to see where this goes. As far as my moment, it's going to be short and simple because this we talked for a bit about the bloodline part of it. Unfortunately, Santos Escobar was attacked in the back by Theory, hoping that that would probably save him from having to defend his title, possibly because he felt too threatened by Santos that he was going to beat him. So, with Santos unable to compete, they named Rey Mysterio as his opponent. I admire Rey Mysterio. I respect Rey Mysterio, but I didn't. I would think I went into the match thinking they were going to find a way to have Theory retain, but no, we have a new U.S. champion in Rey Mysterio, and a lot of people. I've not a lot of people, but I've seen some people bring this up that whenever LWO came out to celebrate with Ray, they all seemed happy. And I thought Santos seemed happy as well. But then some people pointed out that he also looked a bit sad whenever he wasn't directly looking into Ray's eyes. So some people are saying maybe a Santos heel turn is coming, and it's going to end up being Santos versus Ray again, but this time for the U.S. Championship. But hell yeah! For now, I'm just happy Santos or Rey Mysterio won the title, and I'm glad that they have it off of Theory.
Yeah. And the only reason Santos won was because Ray got hurt during the match and they had to stop
Yeah,
him.
yeah. So they could tie all that in as well. Like rule put in the injury and everything that happened, and they could make it all work. WWE is good at creating those storylines with real life stuff. So just do that shit. Keep Triple H running creative, and
Yes.
it'll happen. So now that we've got our moments in there for WWE, I'm gonna go back to Andrew and get his moment for AEW, which I think I know what it is.
Bet you don't. Well, maybe you do. I want to go for the FTW title match.
Ah, not where I thought you were going.
Because, my God, for 52 years old and not being a regular competitor,
Yeah,
he still has most of his moves.
yeah,
His frog splash was still pretty. His drop kick with the chair,
yeah,
what was it? The Rolling Thunder.
yeah. The spinning heel kick to the
Yes.
outside.
Yeah. And Perry and Jack Perry put on a good fight too,
Yeah,
and they played it up as Jack being the heel and he getting a heel victory, even though it was a no disqualification match. He still won in a heelish way with the
Yeah.
low blow, but hey, it was legal. And it was funny, Jack Perry coming out in Jerry Lynn tights, ECW
Yeah.
tights.
yeah. Whenever he was doing his entrance, I was like, that doesn't look like his regular gear. And then he walked into the light, and I'm like, that's Jerry Lynn type gear.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of his And some of those matches he wore that gear with was against Van Dam.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then Aubrey running out there and sliding in the ring and getting the count, and RVD arguing with her.
Yeah. She had to come all the way from the back, man. She didn't make it in time. But yes, for 52 years old, for Rob Van Dam to come in there and have pretty much his whole moveset available to him, still doing it all. The Rolling Thunder, the everything we said. Yeah. He did slip up a little bit, but he made it work.
Yeah.
Props to RVD, man. And what I heard today was after that showing, they want to sign him for more time.
Cool. I like the RVD.
And not necessarily have him do matches every single week, but on occasion, from time to time, have him have a match, you know? But,
so like they do with Edge.
Yeah.
So like AEW does with this guy talking. Oh.
Yeah. where it's mostly promos, but it's keeping the character in motion and building to matches. That's what they plan on doing with RVD. So, hell yeah, I'm happy they're gonna scoop him up for more time than they originally planned. So, hell yeah, I'm happy for that. There's a lot of stuff I could go with because AEW, again, both AEW and WWE had their fair share of amazing moments this week. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to talk about MJF not wanting to go to the trampoline park. And Adam Cole just being in there doing his best rendition of, look at me, Dad, look what I can do. Look how high I can jump and shit like that. I thought that was very funny from Adam Cole to see him doing that sort of thing. But whenever Adam Cole was describing to MJF that the trampoline park is a badass place because they have video games, they have the trampolines, they have arcade, and that they have dodgeball. And as soon as Adam Cole says dodgeball, MJF, like, he gets his attention. Is like, did you say dodgeball? And next thing you know, we just get a video montage of MJF just hitting kids in the face, in the leg, in the arm, just all kinds of violence.
I think he hit one little boy in the
Yeah. It was funny to watch MJF like playing dodgeball with the kids. And I said the exact same thing to Johnny there, Zach. He said, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I said the exact same line because that's what came to mind. Dodgeball, the movie. But yeah, him completely knocking out all the kids, and it's like a war zone. It's just they're all laid out on the ground. And then there's this, what did the little girl say? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
But wasn't it like, why are you adults here playing dodgeball against kids? And she like flips them off. And that's when Adam Cole turns to MJF and he's like, one more. And supposedly he laid out the girl, but you never see it happen. But after that, both MJF and Adam Cole end up in the ring. And that's when MJF is like, right. We need to build to our match. Promo battle. And that's when my favorite line of the night happened, where MJF said, Adam Cole, you're so pale and skinny that if this was the 80s, Hogan would have snorted you. Just fucking A with these lines, man. And yeah, he went on for a little more, but then that's when Adam Cole stopped him and he said, "Nah, man, we're not gonna do this promo battle thing right now." And Roderick Strong coming out, all fed up, yelling at the top of his lungs because MJF, like he hates that he has this sort of a friendship with his friend Adam Cole. And he thinks that he's still playing Adam Cole for a fool. And that's when I have the line. I want to pull it up. I say the line, but it's actually a couple of lines. I believe I took it as a screenshot. A lot of stuff has happened. Hold on. Yeah. So that's when MJF told Roddy, I want you to get in your car. I want you to go home. I want you to run up the stairs. I want you to slam the door to your room. I want you to jump into your bed. I want you to cry into your Hello Kitty pillow. I want you to put your headphones on. I want you to listen to some Taylor Swift. And I want you to shake it off, you bland bitch. I love that whole thing because look, man, music is music. You like what you like. I don't hold it against whoever is a Taylor Swift fan, but it's not for me. And I know of a couple of people that are Taylor Swift fans that also watch pro wrestling and AEW. So whenever I heard MJF say this, I had to go directly to them and send them messages and see how they felt about it. And they know he's doing it in character, so they didn't get too offended, but they were still like, "How dare MJF call us bland bitches?" Because if that's what you're calling Roddy, that's what you're calling them. But yeah, man, just this whole thing with MJF and Adam Cole and everything going on, and them challenging Aussie Open for the ROH tag titles. That's going to happen on the pre-show, and then they're going to have their world title match at the end of the night. Yeah, All In is going to be fucking bad as hell. So I can't wait for that shit, man. But yeah, everything there with WWE was pretty badass this week. They definitely stepped up their shows, and AEW just continuing to push the envelopes with this whole MJF Adam Cole thing. I think it's pretty badass. So, anything else you can think about, Andrew, that we need to touch on before we wrap up?
Did we ever talk Sheeta actually winning the title last week?
I believe we did talk about it last week. Yes,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
her,
because I know we did a watch along, so I don't know when we got very much AEW in last week.
yeah,
So I was just wondering if we
yeah,
talked about Sheeta finally taking the title off Tony Storm.
or it might have just been something we talked about during the week with
Yeah.
ourselves.
It could have been. But I got a question.
Okay,
You know they're having this tournament for this Fatal 4-Way?
yeah,
Tony Storm invoking her rematch clause so she didn't have to qualify.
yeah.
Why the hell did Sheeta have to qualify?
I don't
She's
know.
the champion.
I don't know. I don't know why she even had a match. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy she had a
Granted,
match. because I love watching her in
Granted,
the ring.
she beat Anna Jay for the title to retain last night,
Yeah.
but why did she have to fight to be in the tournament?
I don't know. And that's the same question a lot of people had. Was we understand why Tony got a bye, but why are you having the champion be in a qualifier when she's the champion? It makes no sense. I don't understand it. But hey, it put her on my TV screen, so I'm not mad about seeing a Sheeta match.
Right.
Yeah, it still made no sense. So yeah, that's the one thing I hope they can address somehow throughout this coming week. But yeah, we'll see what they decide to do there. So lots of great shit.
So we know Britt's going to win the next one because we got Tony and Soraya. So we got to have Sheeta and Britt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We have to. Yeah, it has to be Brit. So yeah, lots of great shit to look forward to. This card for All In is finally start to clear up a little bit. It's starting to get set up a little bit more. So now for all the people that were talking shit that they're not building a card, here it is. Here's your card starting to take shape. So hell yeah.
And they just added another match.
Yeah. They just did. I need to go back and watch because I haven't been paying that much attention.
Darby challenged Luchasaurus for the TNT.
Nice.
At All In.
Nice. Hell yeah. Darby taking on someone like Luchasaurus makes sense because he always takes on the big guys.
Like last night.
He just had a match
Cage.
against Brian Cage. And fucking I love that match, dude. Like it felt a little bit different, but hell yeah. I fucking love that Darby gives zero fucks and he'll take on anybody. So yeah, lots of great shit happening in AEW. WWE is keeping us interested with this Bloodline storyline. Now that Jay has left WWE, we'll see how that all pans out. And to address the situation of Johnny, he had to take a week to handle some stuff going on with the family, but he'll be back next week and he's going to get into it a little bit and give a little bit of an explanation. That's not for me to say, so I'm leaving that story up to him. So we're going to have to wait till next week for a Stump the Brain. Like always, if you have any questions or comments, wrestlelost@gmail.com, WrestleLost on Facebook, and don't forget to give us a follow here on Twitch and on YouTube. So, hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend, and we will see y'all next week.
Check you later.